Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Jeff Dover. With me is John Barbin. Let's talk football.
All right, we got to recover, Dover. Last week's picks were pretty ugly.
It was not good. Some of them
I
were.
will point out the two worst were your picks. I will just for everyone watching. Just
you mentioned it in the review show, and so you're just in case you missed that, everybody. Then it's he's pointing out again in this one.
I want to bridge the review with the preview and just point out that it was Dover's picks that went really,
made some
really
bad picks last week. That's true.
Really, really bad.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed with yours because I was every iota of my body did not want to take the Army Navy over, but you had that one. So no, it was
well, but we were hitting Army overs all year.
I know, but it's something about that game.
You know, it's funny. It wasn't Army that made that overwork. It was
Navy. Exactly. So, but
it didn't go away. It didn't go the way I thought, even though we hit the over, but not at all how I thought it would go. But anyways, we're talking NFL right now.
Yeah, NFL week 16 coming up. Yeah,
week 16.
It's a fun week. We got Thursday games. We got 2 Saturday. We got spreading it out on Sunday. So it's a big NFL.
It's a good point. You know, and this. Some of these teams, like the Chiefs, go on like 3 games in 11 days. Some teams are getting beat up here, and that actually doesn't bode well at all for Mahomes having what might be a sore ankle. Well, probably a sore ankle for all of it. So, as we discussed in our last episode, maybe they're going to sit him. I don't know what's going to happen with these lines. If he gets dinged up this next game, he's for sure sitting at least one of the following ones.
Yeah, I mean, what would you do if you're Kansas City management?
All right. Well, we need to hear from our Kansas City fans too. What do you guys think? What's going on here?
I would sit him for this week. He's way too important. Yes, I'd sit him this week. He's way too important. And it's like, and it's a 2-week rest makes such a huge difference compared to 1 week.
And they've proven they can win it all without home field advantage. They don't need
their record is good. No, their record is good.
I mean, they've won the Super Bowl without having home field advantage.
Yeah,
so they don't need it.
No, but it's not so much like the home field. The home field doesn't outweigh Mahomes' ankle.
No, I understand. But that's the decision you're making, because the only reason to play him is to try to make sure you shut the Bills out from taking home field from you. There's no other actual reason to play him.
Right. But if they play him to get the home field and it remains hurt, or it's like it causes him to be 80% instead of 100%, it's not worth it for the
right. So my point,
80% Mahomes at home field is not worth 100% Holmes at Buffalo.
Right. Which that's why I was pointing out.
That's my thing.
I agree.
That's why I asked you.
And I was pointing out they can make it there without home field. They've proven they can do it without home field. So that would weigh towards the sit him and let it heal.
Yeah, I would. And
it's probably okay. So you need to explain this to me. It's probably better to sit now, right? Not the second game, because the injury just happened.
Yeah. Well, so the thing that's tough about this is a high ankle sprain. So that's a ligament in between the distal portion, the lower portion of your tibia and fibula. But what's bad about it is that every time you step down, there's the talus, which is the bone in there, and it pushes up between the two bones and it separates it more, right? So it's every time you step on it, it makes it worse. So any playing, any running, any change of direction, if he has to decelerate or anything, is really aggravating for the injury. And there's no really good brace or anything that stops it. That's why the tightrope surgery was developed, because it's really good at holding the tibia and the fibula together, so it doesn't open every time it steps down. But then you'd miss more time with that. This is one of the ones, like, every step is worse. So,
and having these games all condensed because they play on Christmas Day too, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway, but
by the way, Dover's not making this stuff up. He has his PhD in this, so he knows what he's talking about.
But anyway, so as of now, I believe the line is there. It's been made assuming he's not playing, because it's Houston favored at Kansas City, which would, if there's any thought of him playing, there'd be no way Houston would be favored, right? So
you want to take Houston in that?
Well, I mean, if he's not playing, I would take Houston -1.5, just because I don't know what Kansas City looks like without him. Like, it's
and Houston's playing gritty games too. They're playing Kansas City kind of games, kind of a gritty game too, and they've got some pass rush. They've got something on the D line there that who is the backup there? Henny or somebody? I don't even know who the backup is anymore.
It was Wentz? Was it
oh, you're right. Maybe it's Wentz. Yes, it is Wentz. So either way, I don't expect Kansas City with a backup to beat the Texans right now.
No.
So anyway, I guess I guess we'll start with that
Well,
game.
I mean, it wasn't on my list, to be honest. It was
No, it
just
wasn't on
more
my list either
reflective.
because I don't know
Okay.
what to do if he's playing or not. But I guess
I'll plant my flag in the field is if Wentz is playing for sure, so Mahomes is not playing, I think I prefer the over. I think because it's still a low total at 39.5. So, and the reason for that is I can't believe the offense would look any worse with Wentz compared to Mahomes, to be honest. And I also think Wentz is good for like an interception or
I was
fumble
just
or
about to
something
say
like that,
short
right?
field,
So
pick six, something
exactly.
ugly. Yeah.
So because 39.5 is a crazy low total. So
Yeah.
I think that
Still though,
yeah. So
Texans don't score much, and the Chiefs' defense isn't going to be any
it
different.
is,
That'll be
but
good.
that's a low total, and there's a few different ways of hitting it. But that would be if it's for sure Mahomes is out. That's what I'm gonna. That's what I
All
want.
right. So just to make it clear, Dover thinks that over can hit, not me. Dover thinks that over can hit, and we've seen how Dover has been going with point totals lately.
See, we're starting early with drawing the lines in the sand. I got it.
We're drawing
I
that
hear
line
you.
right there.
Okay.
All right. So let's get on to
Why don't you give me your next brilliant pick there, sir?
Broncos at Chargers.
Okay.
Broncos +3.
Okay.
I mean, the Chargers aren't showing anything.
You're such the big recency guy. It's which worked well for you last week, but it's the
I'm all recency bias.
Yes, I know.
But I'll go with the Chargers had 30 yards rushing, and the Broncos have a real defense.
You look at the last week's score and it'll be like, well, if that happens again, there's no way
But the
Denver
Chargers
can
haven't
lose this
run the
game.
ball good all year.
Yeah.
Especially after Dobbins went out. Is Surtain out? I think
I
Surtain
don't know.
also got hurt.
That's a good question.
That's actually a big deal if he's hurt.
Yeah. So you got Broncos +3. Is that what you're taking?
Broncos +3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's at SoFi, so it's not like the wind. There's no weather that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers are so limited on offense. There's just nothing going on that team. Now, Quentin Johnson all of a sudden can catch again.
Yep.
So, but you don't know if that's going to be consistent.
See, that's right, and that's something that I feel happens more often in the NFL is that someone can have a good game and then they go away, and then they disappear, and then it's really inconsistent this year. I feel like in general,
there's a lot of teams that are right.
Yes,
the Chargers are like that.
Like in the San Fran, we talked about it in our last episode. Like they looked like they put it all together again like 2 weeks ago, and it's gone now.
Do you think the Chargers game against the Chiefs wasn't really a statement of Chargers defense? It's just the Chiefs. That's just the Chiefs game, limited offense.
Yeah.
And then they go up against the Bucs, which we've discussed are maybe one of 3 or 4 teams that can break 40 points.
Yeah.
And they did it to the Chargers.
Yep.
So maybe the Chargers defense just isn't really that good.
No, I think we talked about this a few shows ago, where it's the Chargers, they actually designed the defense to give up a fair bit of yards and then not break in the end zone, right? So, which works out great until you let people score often, because now your defense just sucks, right? So that's what I think. If you're executing it well, that's fine. But if it isn't, then because they had some really big plays against them. So when they give up yards, sometimes if there's ever a missed assignment,
I think it was because they were getting shredded on the ground.
Yeah,
and then that just opens up everything. Yeah. So it was ugly.
No, and that's where the defense. That's how they're set up. They're set up to give up some stuff on the ground to keep them anyway. But I don't. Yeah. So anyway, so Denver, that's a good pick.
Either way, right. I don't trust the Chargers right now, especially regardless of how they can defend the run. They can't run.
No, very true.
And the Broncos have a good defense. So
that gives us something to watch on Thursday too.
Something to watch on Thursday. All right. What do you got?
So the next one. So you're going to like this one because this is all based on what they did last week. So this is a Barbin pick, right? Through and through.
Let's do it.
So did you see, how good Detroit played in the fourth quarter last week, right? 21 points. They're unstoppable. Barbin, they're unstoppable. Yeah. So if they did that every quarter, they would score 80 points a game.
Yeah, you're really tightening it down. The bias down to the last quarter you saw of these guys.
You'd like this pick. That's why I'm doing it.
Let's hear it.
So it's Detroit at Chicago. Detroit minus the 6.5. What is Chicago is not good. And Detroit's a better team. It's at Chicago, but I think that this is going to be more than a 1-score game. I think Detroit can win no problem. I don't think, and I think that especially if Detroit goes up early, which I think they will because their offense is really good, then that puts Chicago in a terrible position of trying to play catch up.
That's all the total is?
The total is 48.
Or sorry, that's the spread?
Yes, yeah, Detroit by 6.5.
Take that all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of
I'm
how
with
they
you on that.
played in the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah.
I knew you would love it. So that's what.
Does that not sound like not enough?
Yeah,
No, but I mean,
based on
Chicago's
last week,
really bad. But Chicago. Forget last week.
it's at
Chicago's just terrible.
what you say you forget last week, you'll never will. But it was Chicago's not good. It's at Chicago. It's an almost touchdown.
No, I think it should be a touch. I think this should be 7.5.
Yeah, I agree.
That would actually would that make you think twice?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
at least right now it's the lock of the week of the century, but it's the over the 7.5. I still might take it because I just think they're the better team. But
I
yeah,
wonder if this is just because like there's all the defensive injuries now on the line.
yeah,
It's just piling up.
that absolutely that's what it is, right? And Montgomery's out, right? So, but I think that it's again, there's Chicago's not good. Detroit can score. Like that's the one thing we know they can do, and
Yeah.
Chicago's not going to outscore anybody. So
Yeah. And the loss of Montgomery it's bad, but it's not really going to slow
Gibbs
that
is
offense
really
down.
good. Gibbs is really
awesome.
good too.
It's
So
really not going to slow that offense down. I don't think at all.
so. No.
All right, so then that line must have that line must be entirely because of the losses on Detroit's defense. Okay, here we go, Dover. Browns at Bengals.
Me. Oh my God.
I can't stop with the Bengals. I just can't stop.
Team. You love it.
I'm really tempted to take the Bengals to cover the 7.5 because they can score.
Yeah.
And the Browns defense is pretty good still, right?
Yeah.
Like Garrett got poked in the eye, but I don't think that's stopping him or anything. But this is all hinged on what kind of Winston shows up.
Okay, so what's your pick?
Well, no, I want to, but I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I think it's over all day long.
The over seems the obvious play here.
Over is all day long because that's not a huge total compared to some of the other ones. Cincinnati can absolutely score. Cleveland, when they're on, can score. And when Winston, when he's off, is good for multiple interceptions, which is going to put Cincinnati in an even better position. So I think it's over all day long.
I think Winston's good for points in both. Yeah, to your point, both directions.
Yes.
Either pick sixes, short fields on interceptions, or he just goes off for 30 points, like throw some bombs and they work. And like you said, the Bengals defense is not good. So if there's a team Winston's style might accumulate some points, it's the Bengals.
Yeah.
But I also no one's proven to be able to stop the Bengals, even if the Browns have a good defense, just no one has stopped them. So there's no reason to think anyone's I think this is gonna be like 60 points.
Yeah, no, I think it's especially looking at so the total's 46.5. That's the same as like Arizona, Carolina, which is sort of it's the Tampa, Dallas is 49.5. Like it's not
everybody
even like
scores on the Bengals. The Titans did. Everybody does.
It's not like it's that big of a total, which is great. Now, again, you're right. It's at the end of the day, it's Cleveland's defense. That's why that is where it is.
Yeah.
But it's at Cincinnati, and it's
two things. Everyone seems to be able to move the ball on the Bengals, and the Bengals score on everyone. Doesn't matter if they're playing against
Winston can score a lot of points or give up point killing interceptions. So
and Chase Brown's starting to come around. Their run game's starting to come around on the Bengals.
No, I think that was on my list too. I think the over is a great call on that one.
All right, what do you got next?
Okay, so man, it's the unders are making me nervous about the unders.
The other thing there, let just before we exit the Bengals game, the Bengals are fighting for a chance at the playoffs also. So we would hope. I mean, they've been all year, literally, but we would hope they put in a serious effort here, and hopefully not another 4 turnover game. But anyways, moving on. What do you got next?
Excuse me.
Yeah. Get it together there, Dover.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. So next one.
You want me to go right now?
You go one more time.
Yeah, I'll go one more time. Jesus. The water, no, it doesn't go in your lungs. Okay. So Dover has to learn how to drink water. He doesn't know what he's doing. All right. Bucs at Cowboys. I'll go Bucs -4.
That's a good one.
A little bit of recency bias, but I mean, if the Cowboys can move the ball at all, I don't know if I really was interested in the point total here, but the Bucs to me are the better team. The Cowboys generally this season have not done a good job stopping the run, and the Bucs run game looks to be coming around a bit anyways. I mean, they put up 200 rush yards this past week. So I'm just banking on, again, I'll go with a bit of recency bias here, but if the Bucs are playing a complete game, there's no way the Cowboys are beating them or even covering 4 points.
This one is in terms of the recency bias, there's no way Dallas is going to string 2 good games in a row together. That's the way I'm looking at it, because they've been up and down all season.
Yeah.
Like they've had a terrible game and a good game and a terrible game. So they had a big win against Carolina last week. I just can't see them backing it up again with another good game. And I think Tampa is hitting its stride right now.
Mm.
So the Tampa, the -4, the total's a little high. I was leaning toward the under just because I don't think that.
Let's avoid Dover's
Yeah.
point totals this week.
So but the Tampa, the -4 is probably the right call.
Yeah.
So 'cause I think they're the better team too.
They're the better
So,
team. Put it this way: if they both show up with their A game, the Bucs are winning. They're covering that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so the other what I was trying to say earlier before the coughing got me was New Orleans at Green Bay on the Monday night. I'm going to go over the 41.5. So Green Bay, I think, is hitting its stride. So I think they're good for a lot of points. This is one of those ones we've talked about this on some of our college shows where the line is really heavily favored to one team, but it has a low total.
Yeah.
So it's Green Bay -13.5, which means they're going to score a lot of points in order to get that over in New Orleans. And so it's really weird to have the total so low matching up with that. And then again, I think New Orleans can score. I think they can also give up a lot of interceptions to put Green Bay in a short field and stuff. So I'm pretty sure Green Bay is good for 30 points. And so all I need is 13 from New Orleans. So
the way that total in that line and that spread adds up, they're looking at a 27-10 game or something.
Yeah,
where
like
Green
a
Bay
real specific thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it could be. Yeah, I think it's
almost like the game that just happened. Green Bay's gonna. Who the hell even plays quarterback for the Saints nowadays?
I don't know.
Hayner or Rattler or whoever.
Yep, he came in a little bit at the end.
I think I missed out on my key injuries. I think Alvin Kamara is also hurt.
Oh, really?
If he's hurt, I think the Packers might even cover that spread.
Yeah, so I just think it's a low total, and so I feel, I feel good about that over 41.
Packers might be able to get a lot of that themselves.
Yeah, they're for sure going to get a lot of it themselves. So I don't need New Orleans for that much. So
yeah, so I had that on my list too. I just wasn't sure where you might go there. So now I'm on to one of your wagons, the Vikings.
Yes,
take the Vikings at the Seahawks. Vikings -3. I just don't see why the Seahawks would be able to win this game or cover that spread. I know it's at home, but that sort of hasn't really mattered for the Seahawks. And if Geno Smith is either out, if he's out, there's no chance.
Yeah.
Or if he's
hurting,
or he's somewhat compromised, all they have is him in the pass game. Their run game's very spotty, if at all. We've just seen Charbonnet had one good game and then back to nothing. So it seems as though the more consistent thing for the Seahawks is a lack of run game, which I'm guessing is what they'll regress to the mean again here. I don't think Charbonnet is going off. Let's say it that way. The Vikings are hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And if Geno Smith is compromised at all, this total makes me think they think Smith is playing.
Yeah. And it's they're a one-dimensional team, and Minnesota's defense has been sneaky good the last few games. So I think that's going to be a real problem for Seattle. And so, I thought the Minnesota -3 I had that one too. I think that's going to be no problem. I think Minnesota's really hitting their stride, and Seattle's one-dimensional with the passing with 100% Geno Smith, right? So with anything less than 100%, they're really going to be struggling.
He calls he's one of just a couple defenses that's as wild as his, tons of pressure, exotic pressures. That's one of the most fun defenses to watch because of that.
And the other thing about Geno Smith is that I don't think they're really in the playoff hunt. And so I don't know what would be the main reason for him to force through it.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Or Seattle's in it, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Seahawks, we just talked about
this.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. They're time, okay.
No, I mean, they're desperate. That's the thing.
My bad.
That's the thing. I think I don't think they can get in without him playing.
Yeah.
But if he's going to play compromised, it could get ugly fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Either way, there's a bunch of things pointing the Vikings' way here.
Yep. A good team. Hopefully, they don't wear the all whites again. I just didn't.
I wasn't thrilled about that. I like that. I like
that. You can't see the horns. You can't see the.
Nah. Did you notice the logo on the field was white and everything?
Yeah. No, I did. But it was just a white helmet with the white horns. You couldn't really see it. So that's felt that everything else about the uniform was fine.
The purple's so awesome that they got rid of the best part of the uniform.
That's a good point.
I mean, I don't mind the crowd being all white. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And that
that's fine.
opening thing they do is the
Yeah,
best in all of
the
all of
it's
NFL.
pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. So that I don't. Do you have any more?
No. What did you have? Some? Do you have any more?
No, I have some games that are interesting to watch, but not anything that I
What
would
do you
bet
think about
on.
Philly at Washington?
That's what I was looking at.
Where are you going to take based on
I,
last week, Philly?
well, based on all year Philly.
Okay.
I mean, they're just the more complete team
Yeah,
on
I
in all
think they are.
phases.
I was really on the Washington bandwagon there for a bit because they looked
Yeah.
really good for a bit, but they haven't looked like that in a while.
The
So
other thing is,
let's throw it on. Let's throw it on the card. The Philly, the minus the 3.5.
okay, Philly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Washington. What do they
I
need?
wanted to
One.
be on the Washington bandwagon, but they just
Yeah.
they're not playing well as they
They
so
need one more win to probably secure a playoff spot. I think if they go 10-5, they're probably going to get in there. The Eagles are kind of looking like that gritty team that can win different ways. The other
Yeah.
thing is it looked like they force fed the ball to AJ Brown, and that wasn't a bad thing.
yeah,
They tore them up.
Yep.
So maybe some of that unrest and him acting a bit like a diva. I hate that though. If they really did change the offense, or at least some amount of calls to get him the ball, even though it worked and he was killing them, it that sucks if the team just succumbs to a player who just demands it to be for himself.
Yeah, I get that, but that's sort of, to me, that's what the NFL is. Like if Minnesota, they're, if they go in a couple of series and Justin Jefferson doesn't catch the ball, like in the third series, they make sure he gets the ball. Like
Yeah, but Justin Jefferson doesn't bitch about it on the sidelines.
I
The way
know
this guy
that, but
does.
but you have to feed the good players. Like that's the whole point of like that's what separates like the elite players from
The team was
non-elite
11-2.
players.
How could
I
anyone
get
have
that.
anything to complain about? You think anyone on the Chiefs does this?
No, that's true.
Do you think anyone on the Bills does that now that Diggs is gone?
Yeah, no, but I mean, listen, I still think that I'm not. I don't like how it happened, but the idea of like we're gonna feed one of our best players the ball, that's how the NFL works.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I've seen some coaches say and some talking about some of their star players that they want them to feel engaged. They want them to feel motivated by getting the ball. But like Debo did this and Debo shit the bed.
Yeah, no, that's
Like
true.
just accept the fact that you're on a team, play whatever role. It's not like you're losing. There's nothing wrong. You're 11-2.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with how the game's being called.
But they were really bitching and complaining for a while there about the passing and stuff. So it's listen, they're
to what end? They don't like the style of how they're winning. I mean, these goddamn players can't get. Who the hell, Jesus?
But it seems like they've really turned a corner. So that's really our point. So as the Phillies playing better, Washington isn't the same. Like they struggled with New Orleans. I feel good about this pick. Okay, but
yeah, I mean they just look like the better team.
Yeah. Was there anything else other games you're interested in watching?
The Jets are a disaster watch, so I always watch them, and I have no idea what to expect here. I don't know if the Rams are going to show up with no touchdowns, or if the Rams just going to go up and down the field on them.
Yep.
And if Rodgers and Devontae Adams can have another performance like that, who knows? Titans and Colts. I mean, Richardson. We got bad Richardson last week. Hopefully, good Richardson shows up because good Richardson is fun to watch, but not going anywhere near betting.
Yeah.
Probably the most uninteresting game of the week. The Giants at the Falcons. Like, who cares?
I was going to say Jacksonville Raiders, but yep, that's a real close second.
Yep. Let's go even below. That's even worse. Like, who's going to watch that game? Because the only person even worth watching is Crosby, and he's not even there. So there's just nothing interesting about that.
I thought you would have had New England plus the 14 at Buffalo just because you're on the Drake May bandwagon.
Yes. So I was just about to arrive there. I am on the Drake May bandwagon, but the Bills are cruising along at a level here that I don't think is.
14's a lot.
I could see them winning by 30. Like I could see that getting completely out of hand, especially in Buffalo too. It's. I know that Patriots is also a cold weather place, but this is a different beast. But I mean, you're talking about someone who's probably going to be running away with the MVP right now.
Yeah, I was leaning toward New England just because 14 points is a lot, and so I was leaning it, but I'm going to stay away because I was burned by I thought Buffalo was due for an off game last week. That didn't happen,
No.
so not going against it this time.
No, and if Milano's still healthy, I think he got hurt too. God, that's just the defensive injuries. But the Buffalo's starting to round into form. That defensive line's looking pretty good now too. I just don't see it going very well for the Patriots there. I could see that being an ugly, like 35-10 sort of game. And so I'll just stay away from that one. Another utterly uninteresting game is the 49ers, the Dolphins.
Oh, I know.
Like, it's just, what happened to Tua?
I know.
What is he doing? That was awful.
Yeah.
Would they have 12 points or something last week? That was terrible.
That one, that's sneaky high up on the not going to watch this game at all list. Like, I don't need to see two teams struggling to hit field goals all game, So,
which is all I expect to happen here.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, again, with the recency bias, but the 49ers squeezed out 6 points and the Dolphins squeezed out 12. And they just looked awful all around on both teams.
Yeah.
So nothing to watch there. I'm trying to think, is there anything else even remotely?
I think that's most of them.
I'm assuming the Cardinals are going to beat the Panthers pretty easily. But
yep, I just
don't want to bet on that either.
No, I want to stay away from that one.
All right, well, and I mean, I'm going to watch the Steelers and Ravens, but I don't really expect much out of that game as far as the Steelers' offensive performance. Again, unless if Pickens plays, I kind of want to take the Steelers. But if they don't,
I tell you what, if Pickens plays, I'd feel good about the over because it's a relatively low total at 44.5, and I think Baltimore is going to do most of the heavy lifting on that one. And then
the only thing is it's a divisional game and things go weird in those games.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And the Steelers held them back last time.
Yeah.
But then we have the unknown of TJ Watt. I mean, I guess I would take the Steelers to cover if Watt is healthy and Pickens is playing.
Okay.
But those are big ifs.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at with that one. Either way, I'm going to watch it because I just can't believe the Ravens have lost 5 games when they look as good as they did last week. But then with the Steelers, they look like a mess against the Steelers last time. So that's it. That's all we got here. So we got some picks. We got a couple of locks that we really like. Then we got a couple of if a guy plays, if a guy doesn't play. So we will see what happens. But man, we need a better week, man. Last week.
We're bouncing back. We're bouncing back.
We're gonna bounce
back. Just like we're talking about some of those teams. Tampa has a bad game. Tampa has a good game the next one. We're doing the same thing. We're flushing that last week, and we're having a good week this week.
Yeah, moving on. All right. Well, check back in with us for our picks for the college first round of the college playoffs and some of the other bowls. We'll catch you in a bit.